Hi, I'm Ray Pucci.
And I'm Lillian Brown. Welcome to this episode of DelCo 360 Local Matters.
DelCo 360 Local Matters is a collaborative effort between the Delhi Telephone Company and the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce.
In this episode, we'll be hearing from Delaware County businesses with their unique interpretation on the apple.
And we'll also take a look at a new program that's a collaborative effort between the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce and the DCMO BOCES that's going to support entrepreneurs throughout Delaware County.
Stay tuned. Delaware County Chamber of Commerce has partnered with DCMO BOCES to offer an exciting 4 weeks to launch business startup program to help budding business owners formalize and implement their ideas for a new business.
We're at the DCMO BOCES Herald campus in Sydney Center, and I'm joined this afternoon by Martha Ryan. We got some great news to tell you, that's ways to support entrepreneurs here in Delaware County. Martha, what's going on?
Well, I am excited to announce that in October, the Entrepreneur Academy at DCMO BOCES will be offering a new workshop. It's a 4-week to get your business plan ready and how to organize your brand new small business. We take you from the beginning to launching your business venture, and that will be right here at the Herald campus, broadcasted from the Shenango campus in Norwich, New York.
So Martha and I are going to be working together on teaching that class. You're going to be the lead instructor at the Pole campus in Norwich, and I'll be facilitating here at the Herald campus in Trout Creek, or Sydney Center, I should say. They're going to be four weeks in October, Tuesdays and Thursday evenings.
It's Tuesdays and Thursday evenings. We begin at 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And if we should be without restrictions from the COVID pandemic, we will be meeting in person right here. And there will be dinner offered before they start the classes.
Even better.
We need to tell our listeners that they will have a nice light dinner, and we will continue the seminar right after.
And so who should be attending?
Anyone who has an idea that they would like to explore to start a business is welcome to attend. Small or large ideas are all welcome, but we are extending a special invitation to 2 groups. The first group is a group of women who could benefit from having a small business to support their income during this time of COVID. The second group is any small business entrepreneur in Delaware County. For both these groups, we have scholarships, and there is a special incentive for them to join this class.
So the cost is $240 but there are scholarships available. So don't let cost be any factor to take yourself out of that consideration.
In fact, there is one more group that benefits from the scholarship. Any graduate from any CTE program at any of the BOCES campuses can apply and qualify for the scholarship as well. DCMO BOCES is committed to helping people start their own business. Students who get graduated from us from many of the programs, they can explore business ownership with us during this program.
So Martha, let's spend a minute and just kind of take people through what that program is going to be like.
Very well.
You said that you're starting with just an idea, and you're ending up with at least the foundations of a business plan 4 weeks later. So what are some of those components that will be covered?
Very good. We start with analysis of the idea. We understand the idea in details. What is it that you would like to offer to market? Is it a product? Is it a service? We study the industries. We find out the things that you're responsible for. For example, insurance, your finances, liability. All those things are covered in the first part of the program. Then we move on into marketing, how you're going to promote your business. And we finally land in my favorite part, which is the finances. We will design step by step how you're going to make money. And the program helps you step by step to create those financials and seek funding from the lender if you need to do so.
And I got to tell you, folks, it's really, Martha, I've gone through that program with you. Really detailed information, detailed step by step as to how to discover whether or not the product that you have in mind really makes any fiscal sense.
Correct.
As a business.
We should tell our listeners about Growth Wheel.
Please.
Growth Wheel. We received a gift from the Growth Wheel organization. This is a worldwide recognized program for business planning. It's an online platform that, thanks to this gift given to DCMO BOCES, candidates can enter their business plan step by step in this online module. And what is so good about it is that it grows with you. As you move on to a different phase of your business, you can expand, you can have projections, and you can analyze the health of your business with this tool. We're very grateful to have this gift for us at this program.
And Growth Wheel is a Delaware County based business, which I'm thrilled to report as well. Mm-hmm. And it's one that you have worked with other students and at the chamber, we continue to work with people using Growth Wheel tools to help them formulate their business plans. Yes. So this 4-week program, it's really going to take people through those steps. At the end of the 4 weeks, you're going to have something that's very bankable. And speaking of bank, we have a contest for that business plan.
We do. Thanks to a donation from the Community Bank organization, the students who graduate from this program will compete to earn a $500 startup grant. This grant will be used by the student to prepare their business plan or to even put the first money in the bank to start their venture.
Marketing, brochures, business cards, whatever it is that they want to use.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. During those 4 weeks, they get to develop the business plan, and this plan will compete for funding from the Community Bank. Thank you, Community Bank.
Yes.
We are very grateful for that gift as well.
And you can tell this is really a team effort. Community Bank, Growth Wheel, DCMO BOCES, the Delaware County Chamber, really all working together as a team to make this happen. Again, let's talk about those dates. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening during the month of October.
During the month of October, starting on the 5th, every Tuesday and Thursday.
How can folks get more information?
So in our website at www.dcmoboces.com, there's all the information you need. In fact, from there you can click and apply for the scholarship right there and then.
Martha Ryan with DCMO BOCES, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
The Entrepreneur Academy, 4 weeks to launch. Great program during the month of October here at the Herald campus in Sydney Center.
I look forward to having you. Thank you.
Where do you see yourself in the future? BOCES can help make that happen. Welcome to Green Sun Orchard, located on County Route 47 in Trout Creek. Nestled in the western border of Delaware County, the farm is located in a village known to the locals as Peaceful Valley. They are a small, family-owned orchard and grow a selection of heirloom apples. Along with heritage apples, they also produce hard cider and wine.
We're continuing our look at how Delaware County producers interpret this little guy, the apple, something that we all enjoy here in Delaware County during the fall. And now we're at Green Sun Orchard and Cidery in Trout Creek, and I'm with Ben and Karen Geary of Green Sun Orchard and Cidery. Folks, thanks for joining me this afternoon. Tell me how, and we're in their production room, by the way, so you see the fermentation tanks, and how did you all get started with this?
Well, I'd have to take you back to 2011, in which point I retired from being a police officer, and it was only a few years later that my wife retired as a nurse. And upon purchasing the property, there were apple trees already on the property.
Okay.
Previous to our retirement, we had ventured into just making a little small batch cider for both the family and friends, and it just ballooned from there.
And how many different types of cider are you producing right now?
Currently this year we produced 3 ciders and a wine.
And a wine?
Yes, an apple wine.
Okay. How is that different than what you're doing with the ciders?
We are a licensed winery, and we just focus on cider. So we started with mostly using a wild apple that was found on the farm here, and then we ended out last year mixing it with a few of our table apples. We had great success in the initial inaugural release, and it kind of ballooned and doubled in volume, our sales, just this last year.
Great.
So the difference is when you're making cider, you just have to use the juice of an
Sure.
apple or a pear.
Right.
When you're making a wine, you're permitted to not only use the juice from the apple or pear, but you're allowed to add sugar.
Oh,
That
okay.
permits you to raise
The alcohol level.
alcohol in it.
So while we're talking about alcohol, what's that alcohol level in most of your ciders?
It varies year to year. This year it was a little bit low because the sugar content within our apples was low.
Okay.
So it ranges between a 6.3, 6.5, and a 6.7.
Okay, and the wine?
The wine was a 12.6.
Wow, that's hefty even for a lot of wines.
It was. We happened to use a lot of our good sweet apples,
Okay.
as well as we wanted to keep the range below a 13. So we were fortunate enough. We thought we were going to come in lower in the 12s, but it just so happens it was mid 12s.
So it's really started as a home hobby
It basically, yeah.
that grew into what we see here. How many bottles do you produce in a year right now?
We're up to, I could probably give you a rough without really.
That's fine.
We're probably hovering around 800 bottles.
Really?
Yeah.
Great. And those are available where?
Mostly, we go to 4 markets on a regular basis, and a 5th one, occasionally we'll split up, my wife and I, and she'll go to one and another.
Okay.
They would be the Walton Market.
On Fridays?
Right. The Oneonta on Saturdays.
Okay.
Roscoe on Sundays. And then
Okay.
Wednesdays we're in Delhi.
In Delhi.
And the 5th one would be when we split up. My wife would be going to Birdsong on Saturdays, and I would be going to Oneonta.
Okay. And you're also available, the wine too. The ciders and the wine are available online as well.
That's correct.
And the website is what?
GreenSunOrchard.com.
Excellent. So let's talk about these guys. This is one of the apples that we have here in the production room with us. This came off of your property.
Mm-hmm.
What varieties of apples are going into make up your ciders and your wine?
Well, primarily we're using a golden russet. We do have some a small selection of red-fleshed apples. We have used the Redfield and on a small portion on one of our. It would be the Cordoba. We also use the Arkansas Black in a standalone. We were real successful with producing last year a really good cider with our Arkansas Black. And then this past year, the Northern Spy seems to be a really good apple for us to use. And we do a standalone sparkling cider.
Oh, really?
And that would be our Culpering.
Okay. And is that one mostly Northern Spy?
It's strictly Northern
All
Spy.
Northern Spy. Okay. Having all those varieties, and when you moved here, you said you bought the property in what year? 2011?
2009.
2009. Did you realize that you were purchasing an orchard?
We did see the trees, not to the extent that we later discovered.
Okay.
It's fair to say we did know that there were apple trees on the property, both wild and they were planted by the previous owner.
Okay.
But once we got into it, we discovered probably twice the amount that we thought was here.
So you've been here now for 10, 11 years, producing the cider commercially for how long?
Just 4 years. We've
Just
been
4 years.
licensed. This is our second year licensed. We
Okay.
did make it for an additional 2 years prior.
Okay. For those folks who are thinking about going into cider production, cider, there's been a lot of cideries that have opened in New York State over just the last few years. What bit of advice would you offer to them?
Enjoy
Don't
it.
say don't.
No, that wouldn't be fair to say. But I would say venture into just take an apple and start and just use as many varieties as you can, because each apple is very unique in itself, and it does produce a separate cider. Change your yeasts, go in and have fun. It's I really believe that how we got started was we had a really good time with the preliminary batches that we did do. So I just go have fun with it, experiment, start small, work slow, take your proceed slow with your batches. But again, yeah, just
And what?
Take good notes.
take good
Take
notes,
good notes.
and probably your hygiene within your production. It's probably the biggest advice that I got from a cider maker.
So what do we have here behind us?
These are our we are a small batch cidery. This is our largest tank. This is 320 liters. It's about 82 gallons. And then we progress smaller. As you'll see, as we matured as a cider producer, our tanks got a little larger.
Okay. But this is where the fermentation takes place.
That's correct.
And you're doing the pressing here in this room as well.
You're correct.
We have, I don't know, Lillian, if you can show this, we have the cider press here in the corner. So you're doing all the pressing here, you're doing all the fermentation, and looks like you're doing the bottling
We do.
right in this space.
We do.
Terrific. Terrific. Ben, Karen, Geary with Green Sun Orchard and Cidery, located over in Trout Creek, but available at marketplaces throughout Delaware County and available online at Green Sun Orchard. GreenSunOrchard.com. GreenSunOrchard.com.
Find Green Sun Orchard products at local farmers markets or purchase online. Since 2015, Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms has been foraging apples on their property and selling them to cider makers. Cider makers love wild apples because of the flavor profiles and compounds that make great tasting cider. In 2019, Ashley Rossi and Matt Tratner, owners of Red Kill Mountain, decided the best way to honor their wild apples was to share them as eating apples. Since then, they have shipped boxes of wild apples all over the nation. In fall 2021, Red Kill Mountain will be featured on the TV show Wild Fed on the Outdoor Network.
We're continuing our look at the many different ways that producers here in Delaware County interpret the apple, something as simple as the apple. And today I'm with Ashley Rossi at Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms. Down here, actually, we're down here in East Branch. Mm-hmm. You have another facility up that we'll talk about in just a moment. And Ashley, so tell us, what is Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms?
Thank you. So Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms is our wild apple business, which I'll explain in just a moment. Today we're here in East Branch. Mm-hmm. We have our home here. This is where we live. And we have our processing facility here. So all of our apples actually come from Red Kill Mountain to here to get processed, packaged into boxes that I ship like all over the nation. And then the Red Kill Mountain property is a very historic property. And that is where we have our abundance of wild apple trees. And we bought that property in 2012. And we knew the apples were there. We actually would go around and pick them and eat them, but we never knew or understood that they had any value.
Okay.
And then in 2015, we actually met a cider maker. And the cider maker told us, like, hey, these are amazing apples, and they would make really great cider, hard cider, alcoholic cider.
Sure.
So that's what we started doing. In 2015, we started collecting the apples from Red Kill, some of the apples here from our property in East Branch, and we were selling them to cider makers. And that's really what got us started in the apple business. Because like I said, we didn't know that these like little crazy apples even had any value whatsoever. Okay. So that's how we started in the apple business that way. And then we've transitioned into a different business totally than cider.
let's first focus on the apples. We're going to talk about all the different products that we see here. But let's talk about these, because these really are, they're beautiful. They may have a little blemish and things like that, but that's what makes these really interesting. So what type of, I see lots of different colors, and I can tell where some of these influence it may be, but do we have real varieties here?
Okay, so good question. This is the question, and this is what makes us different than everyone in the apple industry. So just a little bit of history too, because that's part of it.
Yeah.
When the European settlers came to North America, typically like all of the settlers had apple seeds or an apple tree, even like a seedling tree.
That they brought with them, sure.
That's exactly right, because every homestead farm needed to sustain itself over the winter. So every homestead farm had a few apple trees. And you see this all over Delaware County.
Yeah.
Every home has like an apple tree or two. Some of them are very, very old. So this property in Red Hill had an orchard on it, but the property was abandoned for like 40 years or more.
Oh, wow.
And what happened over that time is that the conditions were just right where the apples spread themselves out across like 20 or 30 acres.
And birds will help with that.
Birds, deer, bear, turkeys, everything, humans will spread the seed. And the thing about apples is that apples don't breed true to their mother tree. Every apple seed is unique. And that's an evolutionary advantage. So the seeds inside of the apple on our property just spread throughout this field across. We also have wild pears there and a wild plum, this sort of palm forest. And the seed just really loved this, the conditions. And so they sprouted. And when an apple tree is from seed, it is genetically unique. And apples have over 60,000 genes. Humans have 30,000. So they think about how successful humans are. Apples are even more successful.
Sure.
So you can put them in many, many conditions, and there's a high chance that they'll survive. So on our hillside, we have an entire trove of genetically unique apples. So there could be some of those original trees could be a variety. They could be something very, very old, like from the turn of the century. But for the most part, our apples are from seed. So they're genetically unique to our hillside. And when we started selling to cider makers, the characteristics here that you see were lost because you're drinking it. You don't really interact with the apple. And we knew that we wanted people to interact with this fruit because it's such a unique experience. Many, many people have never even held anything wild in their hand. And so here's a chance to hold something truly genetically unique, truly wild, and experience it. So these apples have different characteristics. They have different skin conditions. They have different sizes and shapes. Very frequently, I see a star shape, which is really, really cool. You'll look up and you can actually see a star, like a pentagon. A pentagram, even, like really, really cool shapes, different skin textures, and these are all survival characteristics. So what we do is we pick by hand and we package these apples up in a box and then we ship them out. Last year I shipped to like 25 states.
Wow.
And I encourage everyone to save the seeds because what you have is this is a seed bank. The apple is a seed bank. The apple is just carrying a seed. And the seed is the fertility. So you could take these seeds and there's a chance that they can grow almost anywhere. So yes, we're shipping apples, but we're also shipping these really unique, rare heirloom seeds. And we're very proud of that because there is, we've all heard of GMO seeds and GMO patents and things like that. Well, this is like the total opposite. This is true
the anti-GMO.
This is the anti-GMO. So you'll see, like here I said, different skin conditions, different shapes, different patterns. This is a very special apple that I want you to try, which we'll do. And that's sort of the business is like we're packaging these apples as an experience for people that maybe have never seen. You know, we live around these wild apple trees everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go now, I'm like, oh, there's an apple tree.
We
there's
see
an
them
apple tree.
constantly, absolutely.
And that's really unique to the Northeast even.
Yeah.
But we're just sharing this experience with everybody.
So in addition to creating that appreciation for these ancient, beautiful objects, let's talk a little bit about some of the other products besides the apple themselves that you take and create here. So what do we have?
Yeah, actually, we have, we found this jar. It's kind of dirty. It was used to hold like old nuts and bolts in the Red Kill barn. This was in the basement. So he had been, the farmer before us had been making balanced apple spread. So it only felt right for us to make a balanced apple spread.
All right.
So this is one of the products that we make. It is basically an applesauce, apple butter combo. We leave the skins on because basically that's where all the nutrition is, and these apples are not that easy to cut.
Right.
So we leave the skins on.
And let's face it, when we're talking about something this size,
it's hard. Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard work. So we have apple spread that we make and sell. And then we also have apple molasses.
Now that's a very unique product.
Yes. So we're one of only 3 people nationwide that make this product. And basically we press the apples into cider. Then we boil the cider down.
Okay.
And it becomes a syrup.
Incredibly
kind of
labor intensive.
A lot of work. That's why people don't do it. And even we make it just a limited case. Like we make limited cases every year, but we do it because it's actually an endangered food. So back to that like history piece, when the homestead farmers came, there was no sugar. White sugar came from the slave trade. It came from the South. It was expensive. It was rare. And so the homestead farmers made their own sugar. They made maple syrup. They made this. Maybe there were some beekeepers. But this happens to be a lot less boiling than maple syrup, because the sugar content is so much higher in the apples.
That makes a lot of sense. Sure.
So every homestead farmer was making apple molasses. It's also called cider syrup. There's a few different names for it, but we call it apple molasses. And basically this was a pantry staple for homestead farmers, and nobody makes it anymore because sugar is so abundant. And there's lots of sugars, international sugars coming, but this was the original Northeast,
so sugar. Really unique to the Northeast of the United States.
Very, yep. And so we sell this. It makes a great cocktail. It's great in apple pies. It's great with pork. Of course, apples and pork just go together. It's really a fun product. It's fun. The process of it is fun. It's a big like overnight event and stuff. So, but it's a cool product, and we're keeping history alive by making it.
Well, and that's exactly what I was just thinking, that you really are keeping history alive, not only with these products, but with these products, and putting it in that broader context that settlers, when they came into the area, often brought their own seeds. And of course, probably the most famous seed spreader, if you will, in the United States folklore is Johnny Appleseed. And there's a lot of evidence that John Chapman came through Delaware County. And perhaps these apples that we have here are it's their ancestors were planted by Johnny Appleseed.
Sure. We've had pomologists come, we've had foresters come, we've had the top cider makers in the Northeast come. As far as we know, there's only one other property that rivals this one, and it's in Vermont. And it's like very secret, and only a few people get to go on it. And it's actually owned by a big logging company. Okay. We own this property. I would like to, in the post-COVID era, hopefully, open it up to the public, and so that our community can come and we can use this as a teaching tool, because ultimately it is about diversity. And we're doing a few things with this business. We're educating people on seeds and seed diversity. And we're also changing or shifting consumer perceptions because we're very used to perfect looking fruit. But this is what fruit looks like.
The red delicious apple, which looks great on the shelf, but virtually tasteless and no texture and nothing interesting about it.
That's right. And that's because it's been it's been grafted too many times, and it's just been kind of
engineered.
Too much engineering and too much, propping up. But so we're preserving genetic diversity through selling these apples, and we're also showing people what fruit looks like when it's really left alone and left to be on the tree, and there's not all of that intervention. So I make no judgments against any apple farmers, or certainly making no calls about what's right and what's wrong, but bringing the wild apple to market brings a new edge and a new diversity into the apple business. And, there could be lots of opportunities to share what we have in the future with other apple orchards.
And the fact that you sold to 26 states last year, those apple boxes, shows that there's an interest all across the United States.
That's right.
For what you're doing here in a lot of ways.
That's right. There's definitely an interest in wild foods.
Yeah.
Hunting. Those are the things that are our heritage here in the county as well. These are things that the county was built upon.
Sure.
Wild foods and hunting, and so it's been fun. It's a very, very fun business.
So you're located where? And if folks want to come and see what you're doing, how can they do that?
Right now, everything is going to just be through the website.
Okay.
We have a very nice website. We're going to be adding some new videos and things to the website. We sell online.
Okay.
I am going to be selling the apples through the Hancock General Store, which is our new venture.
Great.
As if I'm not busy enough.
That's
right. So we'll sell the apples through the Hancock General Store. We also sell online. And then, like I said, in the future, maybe even this year, we'll do some tours. We'll open it up for some tours. But it's been challenging, with COVID and managing some of the other things.
Sure.
You
mentioned the Hancock General Store. When is that going to open?
It's open.
Oh, simple enough.
Yeah, we had our soft opening last weekend.
Okay.
But it's just, I'm waiting for product to come in.
And it's located where?
Technically, it's It's Elm Street or Park Place in Hancock.
Okay.
So that's our new venture. Similar idea, similar thesis, which is bringing local foods. Into Hancock for
Excellent.
our people. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're going to try this one.
This one I want you to try. This is a very special apple, very, very rare.
Do you have a name for this?
I'll tell you after.
This is going to be a surprise.
So that is a red fleshed apple with a taste like a pomegranate, kind of astringent.
It is very astringent.
And we call it a cherry bomb. We have one tree that produces this really tiny apple just like that. It produces every year. It's totally in the middle of the forest. And normally the flesh is a little bit more red. Every year the flesh has been a little bit more red, but I think the rain has kind of blown up the apples this year.
This is delicious.
For example, the size of this apple.
Yeah.
But that is our red flesh apple. And we made this discovery. I had never even had a red flesh apple, but we made this discovery that we have an abundance scattered throughout of red flesh. There's also green flesh, white flesh, yellow flesh apples. All throughout, we have purple apples, a white apple. And again, that's all just genetic diversity speaking.
Exactly.
Choose me so I can survive and have different progeny.
Really wonderful. Kind of makes your mouth pucker up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really cool apple. And
this is terrific.
Very rare.
Ashley, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms. You can buy all these products at their website, which is
redkillmountain.com. The Hancock General Store will be selling apples through there. And then, like I said, go to our website, sign up for the newsletter, and when we are open, we'll get we'll have tours and maybe like some harvest days and things like that.
Sounds great.
Thank
This is
you.
terrific, folks.
This is a wild apple tree. This tree planted itself, and then what we do is we find them, like when we're out hiking and things, we find them and then we will clear around it a little bit and we'll make space for it to prosper, but we don't take out too much. We like to leave like the craziness as well. This tree had no fruit last year. I think it's one important thing you guys said when you walked in. I want you to know apple trees are biennial. So they have an on year and they have an off year. So if your apples don't produce like every year, that's totally normal. I wanted to let you know that. So this tree, this fruit would be completely genetically unique. No one would have ever even eaten this apple. It's its own type. And there's the star, actually. You can see the points, and I don't fully understand why it forms that way, but a lot of them do have that star shape. This one got a little dented, and this is the solar path of the sun right here. So when you see a tree like this and like part of it is red, like on one side it's kind of got like a suntan, that's the path of the sun in the sky tanning it. So you can see where they're pink up here. That's kind of where the path of the sun is passing through. So that's kind of cool. So we'll come and we'll pick these trees by hand, whatever we can, and then we will shake them down with a tarp. We'll put a tarp out and we'll shake them down, and then those apples will go for molasses. But the apples that go in the apple boxes, we pick them by hand. Well, that's our pride and joy right there. That's what it's all about. So this tree is one of our homestead trees on the East Branch property here. We do a combination of wild and homestead trees. You know it's a homestead tree, one, because it's close to the house, and two, because you could see that it was planted a long time ago. I don't know the exact age of this tree, but it could be like 40, 50, 60 years old. It gets a lot of attention, like we prune it in a traditional way, and it produces really great fruit. And we'll pick just one apple. Oh gosh, it didn't really want to come off. It's still a little early right now for the apples, but over the next like 2 to 3 weeks, and hopefully we have a little more sunshine, the apples will definitely be ready. This is a really nice green flesh. They're very big this year. And actually this tree, one of the branches broke off this year, probably because it was too heavy. So yeah, we'll use this. This apple makes a lot of juice. So we'll use this apple in the molasses, you know, because for the molasses you want a lot of juice. And this is a great juice producer.
Red Kill Mountain Homestead Farms is the first and only known seller of hand-picked wild apples. Purchase their apple molasses, apple spread, bourbon barrel maple syrup, and more at their online store at redkillmountain.com. Sunrise Mountain Orchard in Bloomville is a boutique pick-your-own apple orchard with sweet cider pressed to order. There are hundreds of trees in this young orchard which have reached bearing age, and the orchard will be open September 12th, 2021 for you pick. Zestar, Snow Sweet, Honeycrisp, Gala, and Ida Red apple varieties are available. Pricing is $8 to $10 per peck bag, and bags are provided on site. If you need a peck or two for putting up pie or cobbler filling, applesauce, or just adding to the kids' lunchbox, stop by and say hi. If you don't feel like picking, send a direct message on Facebook and they will have your order ready for pickup. An important part of the orchard are owner Bill Criswell's honeybees, which help pollinate the orchard and provide honey. The orchard is home to 8 hives, which are expected to produce 100 pounds of honey in 2022. The honeybees thrive with abundant dandelions in the spring and sunflowers, wildflowers, buckwheat, and milkweed in the summer months.
We're continuing our celebration of the apple here in Delaware County. This afternoon, we're at Sunrise Mountain Orchard, and I'm with Chamber Member Bill Criswell, who started Sunrise Mountain Orchard here just a couple of years ago. Bill, thanks for joining me this afternoon. And
thanks for stopping out.
What a beautiful location.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here.
We're here just outside of Bloomville, off of Route 33 on Sunrise Mountain. Just drive up and you can't miss this gorgeous spot. Bill, tell me a little bit, what do we have here?
Well, we've got 500 trees. That's not all bearing, but we've got about 150 that are bearing this year. 24 varieties, maybe 25, I lost count. And they all should be bearing within the next 2 seasons. This year we'll have about 4 varieties for picking.
Now, and you're planning, speaking of picking, you're planning something that is kind of unusual for us here in Delaware County. You're planning a U-pick operation.
Yep.
When is that going to start?
September 12th, that's Sunday. We'll begin here. Pricing, we've gone back and forth. I think we're going to do $8 for a peck bag.
Okay.
The bags I got to use weren't up to my expectations. A little smaller than they should be. So instead of doing 10, we're going to do $8 peck bags.
Okay.
Pick as many as you want. No variety specifics. Just one flat price covers everything in the orchard.
And what kind of varieties do you think you'll be picking?
We'll be doing Snow Sweets, Honey Crisps.
Always
Eider
popular.
Reds, yep, Eider Reds and Galas.
Beautiful.
Yep, those 4 we have a good amount of. And then there's other apples interspersed in the orchard that people are free to pick. There's a couple trees of Gravensteins. There's some Arkansas Blacks. Those are kind of orphan trees that have just kind of grown up on their own, and they have apples, so you might as well pick those too.
All organic?
Yep, all organic this year. The only thing I use for spraying is a neem oil.
Okay.
Keeps the bugs down, but that is organic.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Yeah. 500 trees?
We have 500 total now. We started off, the orchard was here when we bought it with roughly 200 trees. We lost some, and we've planted some the last 2 years.
So how did this all start?
We were looking for a place for me to retire.
This was kind of a surprise business for you.
Yes, it was. We were looking for a place to retire, me specifically. I enjoyed the Catskills. I do a lot of hiking. I spent a lot of time up here over the years. So we started looking in the area. We kind of ran across this property the week he put it on the market.
Okay.
And made a visit. We liked what he had done with the house, and we put an offer in as we were driving down the driveway. So, once we got here, we realized there was an orchard under piles of grass and fields and everything
So you
else.
went through the whole closing process. You did the home inspection and everything else.
Yep, and
you move in, and much to your surprise, you got a couple hundred
there's
trees.
an orchard down here. So my first summer here was spent cleaning up the orchard, mowing, raking, cutting, doing all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden trying to learn about apples.
Yeah, your background's not in horticulture.
No, I was in the restaurant, hotel, catering business all my life. So this was something completely new, other than growing up in Palmyra, upstate New York, near the lake, and visiting apple orchards up there with my mother and father as a little boy picking over there.
Sure.
My grandparents had an old orchard on the lake. But other than that, I was just, apples, eat them, make sauce, and make pies out of them.
Go to the store, buy them,
That was about it. So there's been a lot of growing here, a lot of learning, a lot of studying. So I think I've got it down to where they're prospering, and hopefully this year just kind of sets us in motion, and the years after, everything else grows and picks up and becomes bigger and better.
Well, I have to say, the orchard's spectacular. I mean, these trees are beautiful. They're healthy. They're bearing.
Yep.
It's great. So in addition to the apples trees I see around the corner from where we are, I see some beehives.
Yep.
And
we'll be offering honey each year. Again, I'm doing raw honey. We do warm it up to about 100 degrees, so it's pourable.
Okay.
I know some people like the sugared honey, but I like to have it pourable, and this way it stays raw at 100 degrees. I also do some maple syrup, small operation. I've got 100 trees that I tap up here in the woods, so I'll have that for sale also.
So that all starts the weekend of September 12th.
Yep.
And
not that Saturday, not 9/11.
Not the 11th,
on the 12th.
on the Sunday the 12th.
Yep.
And you said the honey, so your bees are here.
Yep.
This is what the bees have been drinking, if you will.
Well, they like the blossoms in the springtime, but truth be told, You're never really going to get apple blossom honey because that's early in the spring.
Sure.
The bees utilize that nectar for food.
Okay.
They eat it.
Okay.
So all of the honey that we harvest here is from hawthorn, wild raspberry. Of course, in the fall now we have goldenrod, but it's wildflower honey.
Yeah.
It's wildflower honey.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So, apples,
Mm-hmm.
honey,
Yep.
maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
What am I missing?
I got some raspberry jelly too. We had a bumper crop of raspberries this year, so I made a whole bunch of jelly and jam. So that'll probably be out too.
Sounds great.
Yep.
So, what's the one thing? How long have you been here now?
This is our 5th year.
And what's the one thing that you've learned over these 5 years that you would tell other folks who are thinking about making that same kind of move?
Don't be a farmer. You're too dependent on weather and bugs and everything else. But all kidding aside, I love gardening. I always have. This is just a huge garden for me. So I'm out here every day with dogs. I can see every tree on my walk through the orchard.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's fun and it keeps me busy for retirement.
And it's what a spectacular view.
Yeah, we've got a great view here.
What a spectacular place.
Yep, no, we love it.
Great.
Absolutely.
So, what's the actual address that someone can put into their GPS to find you?
1173 Sunrise Mountain Road in Bloomville.
Excellent.
And that'll get you. We are Googled, believe it or not, on this little dirt road.
13739?
1173, yep.
Okay.
13739.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Great.
Bill Criswell with
There it
Sunrise
is.
Mountain Orchard. Come out and visit starting on that Sunday, not Saturday, Sunday. December, I'm sorry, listen to me, September.
Yep.
These months with R's in it, you know? September 12th. Starting what time?
We're going to be open from 12 to 4 or 5.
Okay.
We'll play it by ear and see if we get people.
And folks, you'll get people. And folks, you'll have bags for them. And
I have bags for them. They'll be parking all along here along the fence line on our property.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yep.
Bill Criswell, thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Come out and see us.
Honeycrisp, stop out and see us Sunday, September 12th from 12 to 5.
Welcome to Awestruck Cider's new location in Walton. Awestruck Mill has restored the historic Camp Milling Company building into a casual and comfortable bar and lounge. Enjoy a pint from their rotating selection of 20 draughts of Awestruck and more. Awestruck Mill is located at 34 Howell Street at the intersection of Meade Street in Walton.
Happy to be here in the village of Walton for Awestruck's soft opening for their second location. It's been a pleasure working with them and guiding them through the planning board process.
We continue our adventure of looking at how Delaware County producers are interpreting the apple.
And we're here today at Awestruck Cider's second location in Delaware County on Howell Street in the village of Walton with Brian Birdsall, who is the general manager.
As well as Eric Ball, who's one of the village trustees here in the village of Walton. Brian, tell us about this fabulous new place.
Well, Patty and Casey had a vision here about a year ago of opening this place up for our second location. Our vision came first because we were drawn a lot from Utica area, mostly western New York, and all of a sudden we realized that our roots were here in Walton, right? Obviously Patty and Casey are from here, and you know there's been an influx of traffic from downstate, and they actually own this building, and they're great. They're remarkable about the vision of how to market Awestruck. So we walked through here. I thought they were a little crazy, right, of how we were going to pull this thing off. And a year later, here we sit, right? And today, for the first 4 hours, most people are ordering flights, right? And that's a sample board of what we do here at Awestruck. And that tells us that we're pulling from different areas, different people, trying our brand, right? Sydney location, wildly successful, pulling from a different area. And this is just bringing a whole nother customer base to the Walton area, to Delaware County, lower Delaware County, if you will. So I think the visions really came together in one day.
Brian, can you tell our viewers a little bit about this location? This is a tap and tasting room.
Yes, so we're going to try to flaunt New York State in the sense that, yeah, we have Sydney, where we're really flaunting just Austria. And now we're going to give people a chance to try distilled spirits from all over the state, maybe some wineries from all over the state, eventually maybe cheeses and meats from locally, from farmers and produce. The sky's the limit with this location. So basically it's a touch of New York. It's all New York right in this building here that's been here for hundreds of years. It started as a grain company, and therefore we call it the Mill by Awestruck. So I really think it just brings everything right together.
And it's a farm cidery, so you're able to then sell those other products here.
Exactly. Yep.
So someone can enjoy something. This is really delicious, I have to say. But they can enjoy something by the glass, but they can also purchase bottles.
Yeah, so we have a sales force that goes out, and we actually flaunt the fact that we are a farm cider. And we go out and we visit these farm breweries, farm distilleries, farm wineries all over central New York. And we go on and we do an exchange with our sales rep, Nate Wilsey, our sales manager, and he'll go in and he'll say, hey, how about an Austria? And then in exchange, we take one of their products, so we can bring it to Walton, into Delaware County, and then those people who travel to Rochester or the Finger Lakes already got a taste of it. So we're really just trying to grow that experience for that license.
Bringing your brand to Walton was something of a journey. It took a little bit of time, and with the help of our village board, our village trustees, we're here with village trustee Eric Ball, who was a very important part of the process with the planning board. Tell us what that means, what this new business in Walton means to the village of Walton and the surrounding area.
Sure. Well, so this project, this investment is a much needed shot in the arm for our local economy. It'll be such a great, much needed investment here. And it'll be great for tourism and also obviously for locals. So very happy.
So there's something here for everyone, no matter what your taste is, whether it's cider, spirits, and more.
Exactly.
And I think we need to end this with a toast to much success here in Walton at Awestruck. What is it called?
It's the Mill by Awestruck.
The Mill by Awestruck.
And we cannot cheers without saying thank you to Patty and Casey, because they're the vision, they're the creators, and without them, we would not have.
And Patty is studying in Europe.
Both of them are studying abroad to continue their education within the beverage industry.
So they'll be back soon.
Yes.
At some point, but Patty and Casey, this is for you.
Cheers and thank you.
Cheers for Awestruck.
Thank you, Delaware County.
Awestruck Mill offers indoor and outdoor seating and is open Fridays from 3 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from noon to 9 p.m. For more information, find them on Facebook, Instagram, or visit their website, awestruckciders.com.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of DelCo 360 Local Matters.
We'll see you next time.